Managing change is complex. What we've evolved to, I suppose, is involving our own staff as advocates for that change much more. So getting that balance between having perhaps an outside expert, and sometimes that's needed in a change process and with a significant new initiative, to skilling our own staff and using their expertise and valuing their expertise as leaders of the change.
Through the ways that we have tried to adopt change, we've adopted a lot of different things in a shorter period of time, and we've really pushed that notion of it's a collective responsibility of us all to lead and drive that change. That has been able to lessen that anxiety.
As soon as you hear the question, the very first thought is, oh no, change, like what's going on? It's very traditional. I want to try and do this. This is out of my comfort zone. But from a principal point of view, vice principal point of view, working down, they are fantastic when it comes to implementing change. They understand that staff have done some things and have done them very well for a long period of time, and too big a change, especially too quickly, is not necessarily beneficial for the teaching and definitely not beneficial for the learning. So from the top down, the support has been in place and they've understood it runs more like a marathon than it does a sprint. You don't just click your fingers and within 6 months you're going to have, oh good, we've grown in NAPLAN. It doesn't work like that. They're trying to build the momentum.
It's not necessarily about seeing the end in sight, but it's about watching the developments and the progress as we move through that.
We have highly transparent conversations with staff around their ability to lead portfolios. It's quite fluid. So in traditional sense, adding a leader to an improvement journey, the evidence of impact is not based purely on having more leaders. It's having the capacity from within. And so when you build the capacity within, something really nice happens in a school. It elevates the middle leaders. It elevates the people aspiring to be middle leaders, and the middle leaders aspire to be senior leaders. The risk is you lose leaders to other educational sites, and if that's the risk, what a great risk, what a great achievement to be able to grow leaders from within, to build capacity within your own institution and capacity for the delivery of outstanding educational outcomes.
My leadership style is one where I like to get people on board. I want commitment, not compliance. So I had so much faith in this whole process that I believe that the staff would as well. But of course, I wanted input from them. And over the time, we've tweaked the original model through staff input so that they have ownership of the whole process.
As part of the development of the strategic plan following the school review, we had quite a few areas that we had identified that we wanted to focus on. And because I had come from a large school prior to Ashby, where leadership was distributed really, really well, I was keen to get staff on board with that. So we introduced school teams that had specific focuses.
We had a curriculum team, an engagement and wellbeing team, and a productivity team, and they were ran by the leaders at the time. Each staff member was able to put an expression of interest to be on one of those teams. So it was an expectation that all staff members joined one of those teams, but it could be something that you were interested in or something you wanted to learn more about.
As a principal class team, our leadership is based on a strong belief in and commitment to instructional leadership. So regardless of individual portfolios, we are all very conversant with the instructional models, the instructional strategies that we are implementing in the school, and have all taken roles in those. Our year level coordinators and sub-school leaders are involved in student management, but their role is also very much about instructional leadership with the teams of teachers that they work with, in terms of supporting students' academic progress and of course their well-being as well. But it's very much about skilling the teachers to get the best out of the students academically in terms of their well-being and their resilience.
The start of my second year, I got tapped on the shoulder by Kerry. She came up and asked, look, how do you feel about being the head of maths? And I was just like, what's going on? I was like, what am I doing here? I've literally just started my teaching career and I've been tapped on the shoulder to be the head of the maths, and maths is almost close to the largest department of the school. But I came in and had an open, frank conversation with Kerry, and she just told me exactly what the role entailed and the support that I would have in place. We sort of had to sit down. We said, how are you going to do this? You're not in a position to go in and do the authoritarian, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing, because it just wouldn't have worked. I was probably the least wise person in the room, and I'm trying to tell all these, expert teachers what to do. So it just wasn't. From the very start, I walked in and I said, look, we're going to work together. You have a lot more knowledge than what I do in the area, and I think the important factor is that while I have the LAC role and I'm the head of maths, I think the most important part is that we're a team, and I think we work together as a KLA.